Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 1 to 5 of chapter 3. Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Jayasi chet karmanaste.
Jayasi chet karmanaste.
Mata buddhir janardana.
Mata buddhir janardana.
Tat kim karmani ghore mam.
Tat kim karmani ghore mam.
Niyojayasi keshava.
Niyojayasi keshava.
Vyamishreneva vakyena.
Vyamishreneva vakyena.
Buddhim mohayasiva me.
Buddhim mohayasiva me.
Tadekam vada nishchitya.
Tadekam vada nishchitya.
Yena shreyohamapnuyam.
Yena shreyohamapnuyam.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha.
Lokesmin dvividha nishtha.
Lokesmin dvividha nishtha.
Pura prokta maya nagha.
Pura prokta maya nagha.
Jnana yogena sankhyanam.
Jnana yogena sankhyanam.
Karma yogena yoginam.
Karma yogena yoginam.
Na karmanam
Na karmanam
Naishkarmyam purushošnute.
Naishkarmyam purushošnute.
न च संन्यसनादेव
न च संन्यसनादेव
सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति
सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति
न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि
न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि
जातु तिष्ठत्यकर्मकृत्
जातु तिष्ठत्यकर्मकृत्
कार्यते ह्यवशः कर्म
कार्यते ह्यवशः कर्म
सर्वः प्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः
सर्वः प्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So in the last 2 sessions, we have been seeing 2 powerful sadhana applications. The principle is one only, that is, all are indeed made to act helplessly by the gunas, the qualities born of nature. So, all are indeed made to act helplessly by the respective qualities. This is the principle. The born of nature, we'll see it separately. Now, as I mentioned to you, every principle is so deep, every spiritual principle of life, and the applications of these principles are varied. You can apply it in many, many situations. And not only that, according to the times, the application will also change. The principle being one, the application will change according to the person, the situation, time factor, what exactly is the culture. You know, all these things will play a major role in you adapting the application of this principle. For example, see, if there is one principle, now let's say you have to follow the traffic rules when you drive your car. This is a principle. Now, once you understand this basic principle, actually the application will vary. If you drive in India, you need to keep to the left of the road. Now, when you drive in United States of America, then you need to keep to the opposite side of the road. It's very interesting because that is what is the rule there. But the basic principle, whether you are keeping to the left or to the right of the road, the basic principle which you should follow is you have to follow the traffic rules. This is a simple example to illustrate that how one principle can have varied applications. So, without understanding the principle, if a person asks you blindly, now should I keep to the left or should I keep to the right? Now, you may say something based on which country he is going to drive in. You may say, okay, you are in US, now keep to this side of the road, or you are in India, keep to this side of the road. But unless and until you make the other person understand the principle, he may get into problems. Actually, that is what has happened with the followers of many masters. See, when every master, when he came, he gave the application of the higher principles according to that particular situation, the trend at that time, what is required for the followers at that particular time. Now, most of the followers took up the practices, that is the applications, blindly, and they didn't put in the effort and get to the root principle. So the same principle, now in what Krishna, for example, gave in the Bhagavad Gita, where if Arjuna has to apply, it had to be in a particular way. Now, if you were to apply the same principle now, today in your life, the application will vary, because Arjuna's lifestyle was different. He was a warrior. Now, you may be a business person, or you may be an artist. So you cannot take, see, for example, he is asking Arjuna to fight in the war. Now, you can't take that literally. That is one application. What is the root principle? Whatever role you have to play in life, whatever duties you need to do, that you should do it perfectly. That is what is a principle. So you have to use the applications to go to the core principle and grasp them. So in the yogic approach, we do both these things. Whenever a principle is given, we absorb the principle and then see some main areas where it can be applied. Whenever an application is given, we absorb that application and go to the root and see what is the root principle. You cannot have one standard set of rules for everyone at all periods of times. That's why I gave you that traffic rule example. It makes it very easy for you to understand. So one is the application will vary from person to person, and the other is even for yourself. You may practice one thing today. Now, after 5 years, your guru may ask you to practice something else. The principle being the same, the application will vary according to your growth, the inner growth. That is why in spirituality we always say you need to have a combination of being very, very strong in your foundation, and at the same time you should be flexible also. So some people ask, how can you have both? How can you be very strong and at the same time how can you be flexible? That is, strong means having an uncompromising attitude. So you should have an uncompromising attitude. You should also be flexible and adjustable. Both these points are given by these great masters. Now, how is that combination possible? If you understand the context, it is definitely possible. So when they say don't compromise, have an uncompromising attitude, they are talking about the higher principles of life. There is no question of compromising, because the higher principles of life are based on the karma niyati, the natural laws which you and I cannot change. So where is the question of compromise? If you compromise, then you will only suffer. When they say be flexible, they are talking about the application of these principles in your context. So a good driver who understands the principle that he has to follow the traffic rules. Now when he is in India, he will keep to that side of the road. When he is in US, he will keep to the opposite side of the road. There will be no confusion for him. The confusion arises only when you don't understand the root principles. That is the confusion of Arjuna also. He says, on one hand you're saying knowledge is superior, on the other hand you're saying action is superior. Now tell me one thing, tadekam vada. You either you emphasize on knowledge or you emphasize on action. Now it's very difficult to do that, because Krishna is neither attached to knowledge, nor is he attached to action, nor is he attached to bhakti. Nothing. All these are various aspects of your sadhana which you need to combine, and you have to do your sadhana. So sometimes you need to emphasize on knowledge, sometimes you need to emphasize on action. It all depends on what kind of negativity has surfaced in an individual, and what will be the most effective method to combat that negativity. So according to that, a master will go on changing. If you take guidance of your guru, you will find that apparently he'll be very contradictory. To one person he'll say one thing, to another person he'll say another thing. You follow this, you follow. He may even give the opposite. To you also, he may say, do this now. And after 2 years, he may say, now do something else. So that is why the yogic approach is extremely useful for a sadhak. Now, if you take our shastras, the scriptures, now they deal basically with principles only. If you take the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita is of course directly the application of all these principles, but there are, he has covered the principles also in many verses in a deep way. So that is why we find that this text is extremely effective, extremely relevant even today. So whenever a text deals with principles, it will be relevant at any point of time, in any country, in any situation, provided you know how to apply it in that context. So when Krishna spoke to Arjuna, he emphasized on fighting because he was a warrior. That was the context. When Krishna spoke to the Gopikas, he emphasized on unconditional love, love without any expectations, because they were devotional. When Krishna spoke to Uddhava, he emphasized on detachment, because that's what Uddhava needed at that time. According to the context, the application, he kept on applying these principles, and the statements look contradictory. See, it's very interesting. Veda-vyasa wrote all the 18 Puranas. Now, if you take the Vishnu Purana, there he says Vishnu is the ultimate God, and Lord Shiva came out from his forehead, from his third eye. And then Vishnu declares that Shiva and me are one, we are equals. Now if you take the Mahashiva Purana, in that it has been written that Shiva is the ultimate God and Lord Vishnu came out of Shiva's third eye. And Shiva then declares that Vishnu and me are equals. No difference. Now if you go to the Devi Purana, there the goddess Shakti, she is the ultimate power, and all the three gods, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, all of them came out from her feet. Like this, each Purana will emphasize on that particular god about whom the Purana is written. Now if you read all these superficially, now you will get confused. Which one am I to follow? And what is interesting is, a person who reads only one Purana, now that gets into his system. Let's say you read only the Vishnu Purana. Right from childhood you've been exposed to that kind of thought. Then they have fed the information within you that Vishnu is the ultimate God. Now you will become a Shiva hater. I know many people who do that. Similarly, right from young age, if you're fed with this idea that Shiva is the ultimate God, when they grow up, they become Vishnu haters. Why Shiva, Vishnu? Within the avatars of Vishnu, some people are very devoted to Rama and they hate Krishna. I know, I've seen such people. And some people are very devoted to Krishna and they hate Rama. They give various reasons. All those are the external reasons. Both of them are avatars of Lord Narayana. That's what is written. Is Parvati better or is Lakshmi better? See, all these kinds of questions come when you don't understand the fundamental principle. So, at least if different people had written different Puranas, then there is some logic in people fighting. The same person has written all the 18 Puranas. Now, what is there to fight? You have to then go to the principle. See, these are all various applications, the Puranic stories and the various incidents which have been given. What is the root principle? The root principle is that God is formless. Brahman, the supreme God, is a formless reality. Now, since the mind finds it almost impossible to focus on the formless, these great masters said you can use a form and consider that form as a manifestation of the infinite, and you can keep focusing your mind. This is to gain the concentration powers, and then ultimately you go beyond the form. So various manifestations of that one supreme God have been highlighted, like Mahavishnu, Mahashiva, then you have Shakti, then Lord Muruga, Ganesha, Surya, like this, These are the 6 main manifestations which they have covered. I would say there are thousands and thousands of manifestations. Actually, everyone is a manifestation of God. So when you focus on one particular God, now that becomes your sadhana. Now in order to help that, is Mahavishnu is a supreme God. Means he is a manifestation of that supreme God. He is representing that supreme formless reality. So a beautiful story is weaved around that. All the incidents are kept. So when you read it in that spirit, when you absorb the energy behind it, you will never become a Shiva hater, but your devotion towards the formless reality will go on increasing, and the medium you are using is a form of Lord Vishnu. Similarly, when it comes to Shiva Purana, now if you want to, if your psychology is that of, let's say, Lord Shiva, that is, that form suits you, then Mahashiva is a representation of that supreme reality. He is a supreme godhood, and the various incidents and stories have been beautifully given out. So when you read that with this spirit, with this understanding, as a sadhana, not merely reading it as a book, but when you practice it as a sadhana, then you will become devoted to the formless reality through the medium of the form of Lord Shiva. You will never become a Vishnu hater. See, carefully understand this. Following a particular practice is not wrong. You can practice only one thing. But when you start hating other practices, it means you have not gone to the root principle. Actually, that's a problem with the religions also. Every religion is an application of the higher principles, a particular application of the higher principles. Now, if you find it suitable and if you are following that, that is perfectly fine. But if you start hating other religions, it means you have not gone to the essence of your own religion. And even within one religion, many sects are there. And each sect would follow certain things. If you, for example, if you take Shiva worship, now in India, I'm talking within India. If you go to Kashmir, now Kashmir Shaivism, they have one way of rituals and so many practices are different. Now if you come down south, now the practices vary completely. But all of them are worshipping whom? You will say Lord Shiva. No, they are worshipping, this is the real essence. They are worshipping the infinite formless reality through the form of Lord Shiva. The moment you get that clarity, now everybody will become united. Actually, today, this is the need of the hour, this wisdom, this basic understanding. So a person worships Lord Muruga. Now, in the northern part of India, he is worshipped as Kartikeya, Subramanya. In the southern part, he is called Lord Muruga. Even Kartikeya and Subramanya are there, but he is more called as Muruga, because in the Tamil word Muruga means beautiful. Actually, Subramanya and Muruga have the same meaning. Su-Brahmanya means Brahman, that supreme Brahman. Su means good, wonderful. So the beautiful, wonderful manifestation of that formless reality. That is the meaning of Subramanya. Some people translate it as Subramanya means they think beautiful Brahmin. That is not it. Brahman. Brahman is that supreme reality. So Muruga in Tamil also means Arag, one who is so beautiful. Beautiful manifestation of that formless reality. So when you are rooted in this fundamental principle, now there will be no issues. Whether you are doing Shakti worship or whether you are doing Shiva worship or whether you are doing Narayana sadhana or Muruga sadhana or sadhana with Lord Ganesha, sadhana with Surya. It could be any other practice. When it is a direct application of the higher principle, then it becomes a sadhana for you. Whereas, when you get merely involved with the application without understanding the higher principle, then it's no longer a sadhana for you. actually you will become a fanatic. So this is how you need to approach the scriptures, the principle versus varied applications. Don't get involved with applications, because there you need to be very, very flexible, but be very firm with the fundamental principles of life. So here is one such principle. Everyone is made to act helplessly by the gunas at that given moment. So we saw two powerful applications. See, what is the logic behind these applications? The focus of sadhana is to calm your mind, is to increase the positive energy. Now, if you want to increase the positive energy, you need to learn to tackle the negative energy. You cannot ignore it. You cannot run away from it. Actually, if you try to ignore it or run away from it, it will come back to haunt you. So you need to learn to face it, handle it, tackle it, and convert it into positivity. So whenever you see a negative quality in another person, that affects your mind. So these great masters thought about it. Now, how do you convert that into positivity? As a first step, now how do you keep your mind stress-free when you see the negativity in another person? That is what we saw. If you can apply this principle, that person is acting like this in a helpless way at this moment because of the gunas. Now, instead of getting stressed about the negativities of that person, now you'll develop a lot of compassion. And when you are compassionate, when you don't have any stress, your mind is calm. So you will be able to take the right, you will be able to act in the right way. Similarly, when it comes to yourself, whenever you face any negativity within you, again that disturbs the mind. That causes a lot of stress. You develop tremendous guilt. A great Siddha said, even the gods are willing to forgive you, but the gods are willing to forgive you, but your own central nervous system will not. Means, what does he mean by central nervous, CNS as they call it now? Your own brain, so that is a instrument which the mind uses to express itself. So every thought of yours, every emotion of yours, every action of yours, it's all registered by the central nervous system. It's registered in the mind. Last week I told you, from our scriptures I had given this thing about Chitragupta. It's a part of the conscience. So it keeps on registering. So even the gods are willing to forgive you. Everybody may be willing, your guru may forgive you, but your own, the question is your own mind, has it forgiven you? The guilt within you, the deep-rooted guilt, does not allow you to be free. So guilt is useful when you are highly tamasic. See, supposing that a person is very highly tamasic. If he doesn't have any guilt at all, now he will continue to be tamasic. He will never put any effort to change. But once you have located a negativity, which means you have come out of tamas and you want to overcome it, now guilt is of no use. You will have to do the sadhana and neutralize that negative energy. So when you apply this principle, I am made to act helplessly because of the gunas. Now, instead of getting frustrated about yourself, now you will develop a lot of self-compassion. You will start handling your own mind with a lot of consideration. See, remember one thing. When a person has compassion, it will be both for himself or herself and people outside. When you have love, it will be both for yourself and for the world. If a person says, I hate myself but I love the world, there is no meaning. And if a person says, I love myself but I hate the world, there also there is no meaning. That is not true love. That is just selfish attachment. So, very, very powerful applications. That's why in one session I covered the first application, and the last session I covered the second one, which is with respect to yourself. So I'm sure you reflected on these points, because if you are able to absorb the energy of what has been given here, it'll really form a protective layer around you. Because see, either you are encountering negativity with respect to others, or you are encountering negativity with respect to yourself. Now, both ways, when you apply this, and if you can remain stress-free, you are well prepared now to move up further and get established in positivity. Remember one thing, these things cannot be mastered overnight. You have to make a start, and then as you progress, you will be able to practice it better and better. So when you are practicing this, there is one word of caution. Don't confuse this with the corrective action which you need to take. When it is said, be compassionate towards a person who has a negative quality, that doesn't mean you should not take any corrective actions. See, we are only talking of how to remove that stress from your mind and remain calm. At the action level, you need to do what you ought to do. Supposing a person is very rude to you, 90-95% of the time, if you deal with the person in a soft way, if you explain to that person, this is something which I don't appreciate, whatever it is, now that person will respond. But there could be that 5% case where that person is very, very arrogant and unwilling to explain. There, it is possible that you may have to be a little stern. You may have to use a stern expression. Now, there is nothing wrong with that. That is at the action level, because that is the language which the other person is able to understand. But irrespective of whether you're dealing it in a soft way or whether you're dealing the situation in a stern way, the point here is your mind should remain calm, stress-free, because nothing in the world is worth it for you to lose your peace of mind. Remember that. Similarly, when it comes to yourself, you encounter a negativity. Now, what method you will use to change that negativity? Sometimes it may be a very friendly approach, soft approach. Sometimes you may use force. Supposing you see a lot of tamas within you. Now, you may want to force yourself and do something. In certain, that 5% cases, that may work. So, irrespective of whether you're using force or whether you're handling it in a gentle way, the point here is let your mind be stress-free. So, whenever your mind is calm, your thinking will be very sharp. Your decision making will be much better. The quality of your decision making will improve. And when your decision making is better, then whatever actions which you take will be, will give you good results. So the whole mistake which people make is whenever these kinds of principles are given, they confuse it with action. So they become very passive. See, either you are highly aggressive, you are reactive, or you become very, passive. That is also not good. Spirituality is not there to make you like a doormat. Some people in the name of spirituality, they become very weak, Oh, I accept others' faults, I accept this. So result is, people use them as doormats. Like they just come and stamp them and go away. They go on suffering. That is not spirituality. The other extreme is becoming very, very reactive and losing your peace of mind. Both these extremes will cause stress. Now in Karma Yoga, we are learning to balance the mind. How? By the right application of this principle. Many such principles will come. As and when they come, we'll be seeing the applications. It will be very interesting and extremely useful for you. So, all are indeed made to act. Karyate, helplessly. Avashah, by the gunas, gunaihi, prakritijayihi, which is born of nature. Now, what is interesting is, when he says avasham, avashaha means helplessly. That is the meaning which we have put. But the word avasham is a very powerful word. It has basically two opposite dimensions. It's a combination of two opposite forces. You will be very surprised when I tell you this. He has deliberately used the word avashaha. The direct meaning is what we are seeing here. Indeed to made to act helplessly. But there is a subtle message also hidden there, which we can eke out only through the yogic approach. That will be very useful for you as a sadhak. That's what we are going to see now. So prima facie, the first dimension of avasham, the word avasham means being helpless, being powerless. That is not having one's own will, unable to do things with a choice, no willpower. That is one meaning of avasham, one dimension. Now when we apply that, when we apply that to the principle, and then we got two powerful sadhana applications, one with respect to others and one with respect to yourself. That's what we saw. The key there is, when avasham, helplessly, when we take that dimension, I told you to add with within a bracket, helplessly at any given point of time. At that moment, it is a helpless manifestation. But when you are given a certain time period, you can change. This is what was said. Now, the other dimension of avasham, which is what most people don't know, is exactly the opposite of this meaning. Avasham means independent. It means free, self-willed, tremendous willpower. Vasham means being under the influence of someone. Avasham means the opposite also. See, as I told you, the Sanskritam language is a multi-dimensional language. Sometimes the same word is used to mean two opposite things. The same word Atman, sometimes it is used to mean the Supreme Self, Paramatman, in that sense. Sometimes the same word Atman is used to mean, in certain portions of the scriptures, it is used to mean the Jivatma, the individual self. Sometimes the word Atman is used to mean the mind also. And in certain places the word Atman is used to mean the body also. That is the beauty of this language. You see, your mind is trained to think in a unidimensional way. But if you want to progress in spirituality, one of the principles of yogic approach is a multidimensional approach. That will really help you. That will speed up your growth. So this is one classic example. Avasham on one hand means helplessness, powerlessness, no free will, no willpower. On the other hand, it means complete freedom, independence, tremendous willpower and self-will, tremendous power. So what is the message there? At this moment, see, in other words, if you were to translate it with the full dimensions, it will be, all are indeed made to act helplessly. You have to put a stroke, or powerfully, by the qualities born of nature. Now, which meaning should you take? It all depends. When we take at that moment, that given moment, it is a helpless manifestation. But for a person who does karma yoga, who does sadhana, let us use the word sadhana because karma yoga is one aspect of sadhana. So let's take the whole principle. For a person who does sadhana, what happens is he starts burning up all the karmas. And when your karmas get burnt up, you get the ability to change your gunas, qualities. That is how a highway robber became the great sage Valmiki. These things have been given in the scriptures, no? The Puranas. Valmiki was originally a robber. Now he became a great saint. It is the same Kaushika, who was an angry king, extremely short-tempered, very violent and aggressive king, who later on became Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra means, Vishwa means the entire world, Mitra means friend. He reached the highest state. He became a Brahma Rishi and he declared himself as Vishwamitra because he was friendly to everyone, that unconditional love. So Kaushika became Vishwamitra through sadhana. It's the same Narendra who became Vivekananda. Siddhartha became Buddha. So sadhana is the powerful tool which has been given to us, through which we can create a self-transformation. So when you don't do sadhana, then you are made to act helplessly by the gunas. But for a person who takes up to this path, who works on himself or herself, who does a lot of sadhana, see, every day if you do the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana, what will happen to you after a while? You will slowly be able to change your qualities. Whatever negative qualities are there, you will change them to positive. whatever positive qualities are there, you will get firmly established in them. That is the transformation process. For such a person, now avasham, the other dimension of avasham is applicable. All the actions of such a person will be free-willed. It is very, very interesting. See, even if you take the simple principle of desire, when you don't have control over your desires, that is called kamaha. But when you generate a desire out of free will, that is called ichha shakti. They say it is a power, it is a shakti which you can use to progress in life. In the coming MAHAGANAPATHI DHYANA Yoga Sankirtan, one portion has been dedicated to awaken the ichha shakti, the capacity to generate desires out of free will, not kamaha. So all the forces of nature are like that. You can use it destructively or constructively. Accordingly, the purpose and the effect will change. You are given a knife. You can use it constructively to cut vegetables and all that. A surgeon may use it to perform an operation and save somebody's life. But the same knife can be used to kill a person also. That ultimate choice is given to you. How you use that. So you have been given these equipments and you have been given the power to do sadhana. If a person just lives a mechanical life in the world, going through the various motions based on what others are doing, others are setting, without any questioning, just getting up, doing work, eating, sleeping, and then again getting up, waking up, going through the motions of life in a mechanical way, earning some money, getting into some quarrels, getting married. See, these are all the various aspects. If you keep doing these things mechanically, then you're not doing any sadhana. You're not thinking about what is the purpose of life. For such a person, avasham, the first dimension of avasham is applicable. He will have no choice. The willpower will be very less. He will be a victim of the circumstances. But as a human being, you have the capacity to do sadhana. Now, if you do sadhana, if you exercise that power and start doing sadhana, spiritual practices, under the guidance of your guru, whatever the guru tells you, if you start practicing, every day if you do the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana, and then whatever when you attend the empowerment programs, more sadhana materials are given to you. Now, if you do all that in a proper way, now what will happen? Slowly, the second dimension of avasham can be applied, will become applicable to you. From a helpless person, you will become a person who can help others. From a powerless person, you will become a very powerful person. From a weak-willed person, you will become a strong-willed person. When Swami Ramatita, when he recounted his sadhana day, it was very interesting. He says, Rama, he is referring to himself, Rama is beyond fear, anger and all these negativities. But he also says, at one point of time, Rama was very weak. Every whiff of wind used to throw him off balance, he says. He was physically also very weak. He was mentally also very weak. But just out of practice, just by doing sadhana, he says, today Rama has reached the state where nothing can affect him. And if one person can do it, anyone can. So, the word avasham, if you are a sadhak, you'll understand the word avasham is not a mere word, but it is a journey from moving from being so helpless and powerless to becoming very, very powerful and taking charge of yourself and your life. From merely going through your destiny helplessly to become a creator of your own destiny. That is why when people come and ask me about astrology, horoscopes and all this, whether it is true or false, I tell them that is also a science. We cannot ridicule that, that is wrong. Without knowing it fully, many people just reject it. No, it is there are many principles there. But if you become a sadhak, you don't need to be bothered about astrology, because every second you are writing your own horoscope. What is a horoscope? The various planets are there, in which house and all that they say, no? See, when a baby is born, let us say you take a photograph of the sky, of the universe. The planets will be in certain positions. That is being recorded. That's all. And they did a lot of research, and they saw the cause and effect. If the planet is in this particular position, this will happen. These are all the readings of that person's, that individual soul's karmas. The planets are not determining the person's life. That is only symptomatic. The real root cause is the karmas. But when you start doing your sadhana, you will not merely be living the life of the destiny which you created in the previous birth. You will start creating in a fresh way now, which means every second you will start writing a new horoscope. So whatever horoscope is there when you were born, that will not be applicable to you. There was a sadhak who mentioned a very interesting experience. According to his horoscope, at a particular age, he was supposed to have had a spinal cord injury, and the rest of his life he would be in bed, be bedridden for, that is at the age of 51. He is supposed to have had an accident, and then for the next 25-30 years he would be bedridden. This is what was a reading which every top astrologer said. Now he was doing the sadhana, the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana every day, religiously, and the Kaya Tattva, everything he was practicing. At that time, the Kaya Tattva meditation material and all was not available. But being in interaction, many principles, he kept taking guidance from me regarding many principles, and he was following all that. Now, what happened was very interesting. At the age of 51, he had a very minor injury in the spinal cord. He had an injury in the spinal cord, but he recovered very fast. I am saying minor from a karmic point of view, but from a medical point of view, it was a serious injury. But he recovered from it. And today he is very much functional. He is actually involved in sport activities and all that also. Every weekend he goes and plays shuttle. In order to play shuttle, your back, the flexibility is very important. All that he does. And he is able to sit for a long period of time with the spinal cord straight, everything, without any pain. And what is interesting is, a few years later, he went and showed this horoscope to the same astrologers, and all of them were surprised. They said, "This is impossible, you should be bedridden." He said, "But this is what I am sitting in front of you." So they all were very confused. There was one intelligent astrologer, he was one of the best, that's what he said. Now, when he saw this and when he saw this person sitting, he asked him this question: Are you in touch with any yogi? Are you taking any guidance in the higher yogic path? To which he said, "Yes. I attend these Sunday discourses, I do the sadhana." Immediately, that astrologer closed the horoscope and he said, "Why didn't you tell me this before?" Because once there is the yogic intervention, now these things will not work, because this is at the lower level. That is what will happen to any sadhak. So what this sadhak told me was interesting. He said, "Sir, I did sadhana only for 5 years, but if I had been exposed to this right from young age, and if I had done sadhana, then even that accident wouldn't have happened." I said, "Yes, possible. It's all a question of how you neutralize the karmas." So, from a helpless state, from a person who follows the destiny, who fixes the destiny, you yourself, your previous karmas only. But instead of merely being a victim of destiny, you become so powerful, you become a master of your destiny, creator of your destiny. That power is there within each and every one of you. I want you to absorb this principle. You are not powerless. You are not helpless. Even though we have put the translation, it's very difficult to translate this in its entirety. That is why we put one meaning which is apparent and simple, but then through the yogic approach, I am explaining the deeper principles embedded here. So at any point of time, whenever you're feeling helpless, remember, avasham also means you can become very powerful. Start investing some portion of your time and energy in doing sadhana every day. Some people ask, "Sir, should I do on a weekly basis or every day?" Now, to which I ask you, what kind of results you want? You want to become very powerful, or you want to have only little power? Depending on that, you do the sadhana. What is this question? I'm telling you what the power of sadhana is, and then you come and ask, "Can I skip one day? Can I?" You only have to choose. If you do this, this will be the result. It's my duty to inform you that. Thereafter, the choice is yours only. So the same word avasham actually gives you the calmness and clarity when you use the first dimension helplessly, because of the word gunas. The same word avasham gives you tremendous confidence when you apply the second dimension, because you know that it is only a question of time. You can fix goals and you can change for the better. You can transform your life for the better. We did the one empowerment program called Finding Rhythm in Life, where all the 12 aspects of life were given. Now, many people have been sending mails saying that they missed it. Some of them who attended it also, can we have a repeat program? And remember one thing, when we do the same program again, the title may be the same, but it can never be a repeat program. Something new will be there. Everything will be new. The principles will be the same, but the effect will be completely new. And even if you do the same program, which is, for example, Kaya Tattva, Prana Tattva, they are available online, they are energized, for empowerment. Even if you do that 5 times, let us say, each time you will find it as a different program, because the energy functions dynamically. So they've been asking about the finding rhythm in life. We'll see in the future, we'll have a complete finding rhythm in life in an online format also. The flow will be different, like a 22-day course, wherein I'll make you do the more sadhana. The 4-day, first in US we had a 2-day program, and then in India we had a 4-day program of the finding rhythm in life. But I found that even 4 days were not enough to give everything. So I would say I gave only 50%. See, time constraint was there. But we'll see a full-fledged course. So once you understand all the 12 aspects of life, for each aspect we should devote one session, that will be the right way of doing. Then that will give you a comprehensive mastery over your life. So when you start doing sadhana, all the aspects of life will come under your control. You become the master of your circumstances. Instead of being a victim of your circumstances, now you will become a master of your circumstances. That is the difference between a person who does karma and a person who does karma yoga. Karma means mechanically doing actions. Karma yoga means doing sadhana. For him or her, the second dimension of avasham will be applicable. So, all are indeed made to act avasha. I don't want to translate it as helplessly. Or, all are indeed made to act helplessly and powerfully by the qualities born of nature, depending on whether you're doing sadhana or not, depending on whether you're putting an effort to transform yourself or not. See, you can understand the difficulty which we are facing to translate these very, very powerful principles. And even for people who know the Sanskritam language, for them to get the sadhana principles is not possible. They may be able to give the word meanings and all that, but the real sadhana principles can be unraveled only by the grace of the great masters who did tapas, who did sadhana and perfected themselves. So we will stop with that today. I want you to absorb the energy behind this word avasham. See, even when avasham is translated as helplessly, I have given you the positive application of that. How to use even that dimension to your advantage. This is something which as a sadhak you should learn. If there is no opportunity, you should create an opportunity. Supposing you find a difficulty, you should know how to convert it into an opportunity. The conversion technique is something which you need to master. Every sadhak actually learns to master. So when you encounter positivity, you absorb it fully and grow. Use it for your growth. When you encounter negativity, how to convert it into positive energy so that you can continue growing. That is the trick which you need to learn. So what happens today is whenever you encounter positivity, you don't register anything. Because people don't have value for good things which have happened to them in their lives, They just mechanically go through it. Whenever they encounter negativity, now that they get involved in and absorb all that. So today you're using both positivity and negativity to ensure that you don't evolve at all. Rather, you're using it to go further and further down. Now we are reversing that process. In the next session, we will see the gunas, that is the qualities and how they come from nature. I'll give you a few sadhana tips in that, and then we will proceed with the next verse also. Okay? So now before we do the meditation, I will take up a couple of questions. The first one is not a question. Krishna from California, he has given his experience in the YouTube section. I wanted to read this out and also explain a few things to all the sadhaks. It will be very useful. So what he has written is, respected master, I wanted to share an experience. A senior person at work was rude to me during a virtual meeting. I was shaken by it. After the meeting, I did some deep breathing. Then I recalled what you said about a person being made helplessly to act due to the gunas born of nature. That calmed me down. 2 hours later, that person emailed me thanking me for working with him despite his attitude. Much later, when I recalled the incident, I realized that this could be interrelated. Thank you so much. See, this is a beautiful experience which Krish has shared. Since he has put it in the YouTube comments itself, that is why I am mentioning his name. It is not something which is personal. Now, there is one thing which I want everybody to note, even Krish also, you become aware of this. That is, what you have said is, someone was rude to you and then I was shaken by it. And then after the meeting, I did some deep breathing. Now, this is a very wonderful thing to become aware and to accept that you are affected. See, one of the blocks which many sadhaks face is when they read all these principles and they come across all this and they keep hearing that, their ego develops so much and they try to hide their negativities. Even if they are affected or stressed, they will say, I am not stressed. They try to impress others. Some people try to impress the guru also. See, all these things will not work. If you are affected by something, you have to first become aware of that and admit that. Then only you can get a solution. Your sadhana will never ever be fruitful unless and until you are truthful to yourself. That is a very good quality which you are having, and I would say continue with the same attitude throughout. And all other sadhaks also, you can make a note of this. Truthfulness is very important in the spiritual path. This is number one. And number two, see, this is what I want everyone to recognize. The moment he did the deep breathing and applied this principle, he is acting helplessly. See, it's not a mere intellectual application. You felt it deeply, which means you created that energy of compassion. And when that reached the other person, what happened? Within 2 hours, that person realized his mistake and he sent back a mail apologizing. Isn't this amazing? Isn't this a miracle? This is the power of your mind. many circumstances in life will start changing on its own. When I say on its own, it's because it's not on its own. It's because you have done the sadhana and changed the energy pattern within you. So, out of 100, say, challenges, 95 will get solved like this. 5 challenges which are more deep may require your attention. You may have to take some corrective measures. So you will save so much of your time and energy, which you can reinvest for your personal growth. You can do so many things with that. Otherwise, when you don't do sadhana, all your time is just going away, is being frittered away in defending yourself and protecting yourself. So when you do your sadhana and when you correctly apply these principles, when you change the energy field within you, that forms a beautiful protective layer. That is the beauty. So this is one thing. The other one is the question which Ramesh Rajagopalan ji has asked from Bangalore. What he has asked is, Namaskaram, deep gratitude from my end for what all you've been guiding. I had a question which keeps pondering my mind always. He has asked from one of the previous sessions on the third aspect. I think he is talking about the first line, of this verse. So, of dropping of self-importance. Yes, that was given, the 3 aspects in the first line. Not even for a moment can anyone in reality remain active. The dropping of the self-importance. So, how much balance should one bring about in contacting the world? Because one cannot drop the self-image, especially in the corporate world. How does one bring the balance? So this may lead to other extreme where you get used or you become like a doormat, as an example. So how does one bring the balance to achieve success at both ends? Yours truly, Ramesh Rajagopalan, Bangalore. It's a very practical question which you asked, sir. And see, whenever one person asks a question, don't think the answer is given only to him. The answer is given to everyone. And so many a times the same answer, some certain portions of the answer will resolve some other questions which you may be having. So always pay attention. Everyone's question is an opportunity for us to learn something. So basically what you're asking is, when it comes to self-importance, especially in the corporate world, why in the corporate world, even you're at home, everywhere, if you drop it off completely, the self-image and all that, then what you're saying is it can go to the other extreme where you become like a doormat. Today also I did touch upon that. Yes, so both these extremes should be avoided. See, what was mentioned in that session is, drop your extra self-importance. See, what do we mean by self-importance? First, you understand that. Self-importance means giving importance to yourself without any consideration for others. That is the negative aspect of self-importance. So that's why it was said, drop that extra self-importance, which is a manifestation of ego. Now, the moment you find that you're going into the other extreme where you are losing your self-esteem and self-confidence, that is also not good, right? You're right, you'll become like a doormat only. So that is not spirituality, that is a sign of weakness. So you give yourself the important, means you consider yourself important. You also consider the entire world, everyone is also important, because the whole world is a creation of God. So you neither have a superiority complex. See, when you give importance only on yourself and you are inconsiderate towards others, you will develop superiority complex. Now, if you give importance to others and you don't give any importance to yourself, that is, you are inconsiderate about yourself, then you will develop inferiority complex. You will become like a doormat. So, self-importance at the cost of others gives you arrogance, superiority complex. Now, giving importance to others at the cost of yourself, that will give you inferiority complex. You will become very subservient. So, the principle is to be in the middle. Give yourself that much importance which is due. Nothing more, nothing less. Neither become arrogant nor be subservient. Be in the middle path. So where it's required, like you're saying in the corporate life, you may have to sometimes project yourself. Nothing wrong. Do it objectively. See, if a person doesn't understand your worth, now let's say your own management team is unable to understand, you've genuinely produced good results, but they are unable to recognize it, then what do you need to do? You need to project your work, you need to project yourself in an attractive way so that they look into it, it attracts them, you catch their attention. That is not ego. That is using this as a tool so that you are able to progress. So wherever it's required, there is nothing wrong. As I told you in one of the sessions, marketing is not wrong. What is there, if you market it, you are creating more awareness. Where does marketing become wrong? When you start lying, you start emphasizing or you start highlighting certain things which are actually not there. That is when it becomes unethical. So a certain amount of sales and marketing skills are required wherever you are, whether it's in the corporate field or any other field. As long as you are doing it objectively, without any ego, it will not affect you. It will not pull you down spiritually. But some people focus so much on promoting themselves without any stuff. That is nothing but ego boost only. So beautiful question. I think I've answered it. So you think about that to bring about the balance. See, one slip here, one slip there, you will go off into some extremes, You have to be very careful about that. There are only two classes of people. Either people are very arrogant and they bully others, or people become very subservient and they become very weak. Especially many people, in the name of spirituality, they become very subservient. That's wrong. So you are neither a bully nor are you subservient. You respect yourself and you respect others. You give importance to yourself and you give importance to others. You are considerate towards yourself, you are considerate towards others. You are compassionate towards yourself and you are compassionate towards others. You have unconditional love towards yourself and you have unconditional love towards others. This is real spirituality. Do your sadhana till you gain mastery over these principles and you gain that balance. Spirituality is not torturing yourself, saying that I am sacrificing for others. Neither is it trying to rule over others. A master is one who who serves others and who also serves himself or herself. How does he serve himself? Just the fact that he does sadhana and he reaches a state of sthita prajna, that is the greatest service you can do to yourself. Similarly, how does he serve others? He helps others to also reach that state of sthita prajna. Okay, so we'll stop here now. We'll do the nididhyasana meditation. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am getting into a state of deep relaxation. Feel the divine vibrations. With every breath, I'm going deeper and deeper into myself. I am not this body. I am not this mind. I am not this intellect. I am that supreme, infinite self. have infinite powers within me. I choose to awaken the power to create my life, to create my destiny through diligent and regular sadhana. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Slowly come back. Wriggle your fingers, your toes, rub your palms together to create a warmth. Cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, cheeks, forehead, top of the head, back of the head and neck. Slowly open your eyes Welcome back. So we had a very powerful session. Reflect on these points carefully. See, throughout the day, whenever you get spare time, you should keep reflecting on the higher principles of life. As far as you are concerned, whatever is given every Sunday, that will incidentally prevent from the mind to keep rambling into some negative things and all that. This is apart from your daily sadhana, of Yoga Sankirtan. This will really help you. So as far as the Yoga Sankirtan release is concerned, we are having it on April 16th. This will be in Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan Auditorium in Chennai. I think details have already been sent to you. So it will be from 10 a.m. to 12:30. Very powerful healing session will be there. So if you want to introduce someone, and if many people require healing, bring them there. It's going to be extremely powerful. More than 1 hour of very, very deep healing. On that day, we will not be having our regular Bhagavad Gita sessions at 7 a.m. So instead, at 10 a.m. we'll be having that. And then the subsequent week, from 24th to 29th of April, we'll be having the Yoga Sankirtan Empowerment course. So the MAHAGANAPATHI DHYANA empowerment will be given during that course time. That will be from that week, 24th to 29th, Monday to Saturday. Okay? So if you have any further clarification, because someone had asked this question, will the Sunday Gita be there on 16th? So no. If you have any further questions also, you can ask. I will answer all of them. So thank you very much. Hari Om.